Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly, I guess, a Witcher Master? I don't know. I think I had an idea for it last week, or last time, and I've completely forgotten already. But today, we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign, playing our Talsorian's outstanding The Witcher RPG. And with me tonight are the stars of the Witcher, or the ongoing Witcher campaign. This arc of the campaign is called Season of Ravens. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing? First up, we've got Sean.
Hey, I'm playing Werzium, a Witcher from the Viper School.
Nice. Next up is Will.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm playing Sindike. He's an elf mage.
Excellent. And last, but certainly not least, is James.
And I'm playing Selena, the bratty 13-year-old thief.
Nice. So last session, guys, saw some you guys dealing with a newfound ally in the form of, or at least a newfound person in the form of a Knight of Creve. A Knight of the Forefather, or from the Order of the Forefather, I should say. Your Dwarven ally, we opened the session with your Dwarven Doctor ally coming running up to you guys and indicating that there was this Knight of Creve and his men-at-arms retinue that had ridden into town. That was of a potential consequence for some of you in the party because Creve is one of the, or is the god whose sort of splinter faith or sort of similar faith is behind the current crusade going on in, is it Redania, I believe, to the south, that has led to a whole lot of non-humans getting murdered. So he rode into town. You guys didn't know what to expect from this knight, and what did end up happening last time?
Let's see. Last time we had our interaction with the knight, and which was I think net positive. I mean, he's there. He's here for us. He was ordered to see us to the job, and was yet sympathetic to what we were currently about with his oaths and all, and
yeah.
So and we told him, we informed him about the village prior, and gave him the story on how it had been decimated. And so he went out and at first light to look for survivors in the forest that had fled.
Yeah, so one of his first questions was whether there were any survivors from the attack. Anyone who fled into the hills at the first sign of it. And you guys had, after defeating those two werewolves, you guys had effectively beat feet to try and make it to the Duchy of Rava as fast as he could. So he rode off, but what did you guys do with your day? Oh, you also did find the town offered you a little surprise as well, in form of some armor, some leather armor padding for your.
Yeah, that's right. We upgraded our armor because I know I did, and I'm pretty sure Werzium did too.
Yes, enhanced. I'm looking for details of it, but yeah, enhanced our armor.
Yeah, you got your hardened leather now, so it is. That's magic. Armor kits. There you go. You guys have hardened leather, so you now have fire resistance, +2 stopping power, and you have blunt and slashing resistance. So you'll take half damage after stopping power is applied. And then what happened? So I got a visual aid here. Oh, I don't have
battle
a hand
with the battle with the Griffin.
Yeah.
We executed our plan, and did not succeed in the grounding, of it, but nonetheless, we're able to vanquish it in a. Yeah, it was a little unusual because I think in our battle so far, because we were in that trench, and so I guess it was, in general, it was good for Werzium, but bad for everybody else, because usually he's better built for taking more attacks.
Yeah,
and the attacks got more evenly distributed because of our geographic pinning of ourselves, in essence.
Yeah, and it was able to, it was also able to sort of fight in 3 dimensions, which was challenging for you guys. And I believe our stalwart doctor, Robert, is still getting over an illness, so he's not able to join us today. But he's effectively role-playing his doctor being unconscious and dying.
Indeed.
So I will leave it to you to decide which of the two is true. Perhaps both can be true at the same time. And he got dive bombed a bunch of times by this thing. And Sindaith, you narrowly missed that at least once, perhaps twice.
Yeah, I know I missed it some. I
think it was twice. Yeah, the second time was a very close one. So one thing we talked about last time as well is we're going to try some new luck rules. So definitely top up your luck right now. And I wonder if I can give you a bar to track it like we do in other games. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. We do. Look at that.
Plus.
Okay. So there you go. Your green bar will be your luck.
Okay.
I'll get those set up for you guys. Cool. And we're going to do a kind of Marvel superhero style thing. That's a good idea, Will.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is if you're choosing to spend luck on a roll, you just call it before you make the roll, and then afterwards you will spend luck up to the point of success. So there's a bit of a risk reward there because you may drain all your luck just for one roll, and if you succeed in the roll, then it only costs you 1 luck. So you're not losing anything on a success apart from the 1 point investment, and you don't have to spend stuff ahead of time. But it does give the potential for you losing all your luck.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try that. The downside of that is that you may just suck up all your luck on one roll. I think it's only going to be spent if it gets to a success as well. So, like, if you critically fumble something, you're not just going to, on top of that, lose luck because you have no chance of getting a success. So it'll just be the same thing, 1. If you can spend luck to get to a success, that will happen.
Okay.
All right. So then, you have a downed griffin. I think that is where you guys look over, you are in that... tunnel, and the let me move you guys over to our forest map once again. Go. I think this is where we are. Yeah. Get rid of everybody. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Okay. Now I'm just going to test something here. See if this is working properly. It is not. Oh, the tokens don't work properly on this.
That doesn't make any sense.
Let me see here. Oh. See, come on, you thing. Hold up. Problems between keyboard and chair here. Hold on. There we go. Again, it hides. I don't know what goes on with these. It's either this character sheet or something, but it constantly wants to clear out the maximums on your character sheet, so it makes the some of the bars disappear sometimes. It's weird. Okay, let's see here. And this is Sindaith. Edit. No. Back off. There we go. And where's him? Let's get you set up here. So, what do you guys intend on doing next?
I guess work on the corpse.
Yeah. So, the things you can get from here. You may be able to get griffin feathers, infused dust, and a griffin egg maybe inside there. So, why don't you give us, Orzium, a Witcher training check, please?
Okay.
Nice. Okay. I think that's good enough. Yeah, that's a complex result. So, okay, so then what you can find, Orzium, would you give us a 1d6 roll, please?
All right.
Nice. So you recover 3 griffin eggs from this, and they have a dark with spot, modeling on it, color to them. Then would you give us a D10 roll?
Okay.
Only 2 recoverable feathers. Unfortunately, someone set this thing on fire at some point. So, and then would you give us?
That was.
Would you give us a D6 roll once again, please? Okay, that is 2. 2 doses of infused dust. And that is an alchemical item. Let's see here. Infused dust is hydragenum. Hydragenum. So hydragenum. I'm not sure if you're keeping track of that stuff still, Orzium, for making your wisher potions and stuff like that.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see. That would be in the. I have to remind myself how it's hydration.
I think it's in the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole. There's a. I knew there. I thought there was. It's pretty well tracked on the gear section. There's a whole section for it. I don't have any before, not surprisingly. But,
Okay. So you got
how much?
2 doses. 2 doses of it now.
Nice.
And let's see about. If there is anything you can salvage from here too. Let's see.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Doesn't
your
let me
mutagens.
modify my. Not sure why. I'll have to look into it. Okay.
What's happened?
Doesn't let me modify that section. I'm not sure why. I'll have to experiment. But
Oh, that's weird.
yeah,
Let's see.
the alchemical area.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's taking it from somewhere else.
If you go down,
Oh, what do you got?
hit the triangle, drop down, because
Yeah.
it can be
Yeah.
different sources for it. So like if you click on hydrogenum, you have to put
okay.
add in and put in here
Very good.
infused
Okay.
dust.
Nice. I see.
Yeah, not griffin, infused dust.
okay.
Just because it's a the nomenclature for the alchemy system is pretty particular. So you have to be. If you put it in as something that's colloquial as opposed to what it's defined as, we're gonna have a hell of a time trying to figure out,
Gotcha.
in a month's time what it actually is.
Yep.
All right. So then there is actually. So you can also make a Witcher training at DC 16 to find a part of this beast that is has the most mutagenic property to it, and cut it out. DC 16.
All right. All right, we'll try out the new spanking new luck rules.
Here we go. Okay. Invest in some luck here.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. So we're going to lose one then.
No.
One luck. All right. So, yes, you're able to recover it. Then, when you choose to consume the mutagen, you must take 1 hour to process it and then consume it. This requires an alchemy check at DC 18 for this one. And then, if successful, your body assimilates it and you gain all of its effects. You can have 2 mutagens affecting your body, and they cannot be removed. This one, if it is like a normal griffin, it'll grant you +2 to melee damage. This is an unusual creature, though. This does seem to be... Griffins generally don't have black feathers, that strange ability it had to sort of entrance you. That's not something that griffins typically do. And it hunted at night, where most griffins were daytime hunters.
Okay.
So, you know what the typical impact of that mutagen is, but, yeah. So, you have that now.
Okay.
So what else are you guys planning on doing? This process probably takes a good few hours to get things sorted out, to really butcher this thing and get what you want. What are Sindaith and Selena doing during that time?
I'm not sure Sindaith is terribly interested in slaughtering the animal.
Yeah, Selena's looking with some repugnance at Wurzium hock deep in griffin guts.
Yeah, guts up to his elbows.
Yep.
You guys want to get in on this?
Wurzium's looking at Selena's disgust, thinking, I don't think she knows where meat comes from.
I'm going to be... I guess we'll help Gravik back to the inn, as it were, and
Yeah.
tuck him up with some griffin feathers to cheer him up.
Yeah, the two unburned griffin feathers are sitting on his chest. So yeah, you're able to get him back. From where you guys are to get back to town is only about half an hour, if that. And half an hour is really just like getting across the valley, getting across the bridge, getting into the actual wall of the place. When you guys do return, or sorry, that's the two of you are taking Dr. Greyback back.
Yep.
I think so.
Okay, so when you reach when word reaches the town of the successful hunt, it is a huge celebration. People are extremely thrilled at the outcome from this, and what you find is that in your absence, the Sir Richard has returned as well. With a small retinue, maybe about 15 people who are survivors of the village. So there were people who did manage to get away and weren't found or weren't caught in the forest. They're all sort of clustered around that same sort of open area where you guys were eating before. When you get back, they point out to you who these new people were, who the returning people were. You don't know the people of the town here, well enough to be able to distinguish who's new and who's a, old face. But even without that, you can tell that the look on the face of those who survived the massacre in that village and those who live here, it's very easy to see who's who. So once you get back, there's the town is quite happy, and Sir Richard congratulates you as well for a job well done. And Wurzium, when you finally make your hike back, what do you bring in back to sort of prove your victory, as it were?
The classic would be the head. Yeah. So, you got to bring the head back. And I guess, if I know whether the meat is edible.
No, you would not want to eat this.
Okay. So I will leave that then. Yeah,
griffins are hybrid creatures, so they're sort of like, they are a mutant like yourself. Not particularly tasty.
All right. So yeah, so he'll leave that then. Probably the head. So the head, maybe probably the talons. The talons sound like something you could sell, or someone be. So griffin talon sounds good. You just say it; it sounds good.
Yeah.
Does that guy have a griffin talon as a necklace? That kind of a thing.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, you bring all that stuff back, and I think we can say that you squeeze. Let's see here. If you're not keeping the stuff for yourself, and you're just keeping the gold, the stuff that matters, like the mutagens and the other sort of components.
Yeah.
Then let's say that you get an extra 80 worth of crowns, Redanian crowns, out of those bits from people who are picking up souvenirs for themselves, for their kids, or whatever.
Yep. For those kids that are hard to buy for.
Yeah, exactly. What does this kid want for? Oh, how about a horrific, kid-killing monster's claws? There you go.
The claw of a creature that killed his brother.
Yeah, exactly. Be good, or else. Yeah. So, having returned to town, I think this is what we've been using as our town here. Boom. You are, you're exhausted because you've been up all night for this, but the town is talking about tonight having a real, like, they've been postponing this festival. You may remember that they had stuff hanging from the tree, the charms and so forth, and they've been waiting to have this festival, and this is an opportunity to finally have that. So they're going to be having a real whoop up tonight. You guys are going to be welcome to rest during the day or do whatever you like during the day.
And I will give Selena and Sindaith 20 crowns apiece as their split of the accoutrement, Griffin accoutrement, and the doctor. Kevin, if you want to give.
Oh, sure. I'll give him. You got it. Let's see here. Dr. Grayvek. Go. Gear and inventory. Great looking sheet.
Yep.
He is flat broke right now, by the by.
I mean, could it be because when he was unconscious in bed there, Selena kind of,
Now, did you, that hydrogenum, did you want to keep that yourself or you want to give it to him? He has been collecting a bunch of other alchemical supplies.
I'll keep it on me for now. I mean, when Robert's actually back, we'll discuss it, When I'll just keep it on. I've already got it, so I'll just keep it.
All right. Then, guys, what do you wish to do next? Well, what else? Anything else? What is happening, I guess, for the rest of your day? You had that reward coming in, too, which I think was either 100 crowns in cash or 200 in supplies and such. So that's one thing to consider before you head on, whether you're, what you want to do with that or whether you want to cash that in or not.
And what did we determine about, they do have a blacksmith?
They have a blacksmith here, yeah. But it's not going to be someone who specializes in swords or stuff, so I'm not sure you would want to trust that to him. Like anyone else, to repair the things, they need to have access to the, what do you call it, the formulae?
Forge?
Yeah,
gotcha.
The forge they got access to, but if they don't have the schematics for it, then it's going to be,
What about repairing armor? Is that easier?
Repairing anything in the game it seems to be the exact same thing. So it's a very expensive and time-consuming endeavor.
Okay.
You sort of have to wait till the shit's falling apart before you replace it, or at least unless you have unlimited cash. Do you? Do you have unlimited cash?
So, okay. So I guess I'll take the money if that's the case. I think, right? What else do we need?
If you're asking about that, what Sir Richards can say is that like your next destination is, 1 second here. What is the name of the place? Oh, it's the Neck. There's a the way you get in. I have a rough map of the Duchy of Rava now. I need to actually draw it properly, but there is, to get into the Duchy of Rava, and where you have Rava, Siedza, and then some of its neighbors. You pass through a fairly narrow point in the foothills. It's the most easily accessible place for, like 100 miles in either direction. And to get through it, there's a fortress, an ancient fortress that's been built there since, humans came here. It also happens to be the place where the Knights of the Forefather are stationed. So it has a garrison of knights, and if you really need work, there is a blacksmith there who is skilled in working with armor and weaponry.
Okay.
So.
Very good.
Anything else you guys wish to do today?
Enjoy the festival, I guess, as much as we can.
Yeah.
And I guess Selena will go look at the wherever the nearest bit, the corner of the woods or the above the gate, to see about this knight returning. Since she is an interest as to what the knight finds at the
he did return. Yeah, he actually returned.
He is.
Yeah, he got back like he rode out in the morning. You guys headed out to. I think it was that night you guys had out, so you just missed each other. He did return with a bunch of survivors, and those are the ones I was saying that were traumatized.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the ones that there are people who are part of the village who are happy that you guys are back, but you can tell that of the survivors, the like 15 or so survivors that Sir Richard brought back from that devastated town, they had that look of having seen, too much. So, he did. It seems like there were some small amount, but I mean, you guys saw exactly. Selena was clearly distracted by something much more interesting.
Shinies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she also I think, did Selena strike the killing blow on this thing, or was it Wersium?
It'd be close. She like took out its arms or something. So I mean, it was within range.
I gutted it, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
You cut a hole in it, and then I stuck my stiletto in it.
Oh, okay.
For good measure.
And it was Dr. Greyback who disabled one of its arms with his opening shot. So, you guys are maybe. Who do you think would be telling the story of the fight, if anyone?
Oh, I think it'd be Selena.
Okay.
Because she's got a big mouth, and Wersium will be sulking in a corner.
Yeah.
I mean, Wersium prefers someone else do it, actually. So he's
okay. So Selena is, playing the impromptu role of a bard to describe it, and yeah, it was a fearsome fight. So the young folks and those adventurous minded are all quite invested in what's what you've had to say. Even Sir Richard is, and his men at arms, they're enjoying hearing the kind of the story of what's happened. The only ones who seem not to really be listening is the ones who were the survivors for it. So Sir Richard at one point comes over and sits with you, Wersium. I know he's got a glass of something from the the local brewer or whatnot has broke out their actual their good stuff. So he sits down and sort of cheers your drink. He says, "A successful hunt, Witcher."
Indeed. We suffered some. My colleague suffered some serious wounds, but I think he should recover.
I can't say I've ever met one of your kind before, though there's stories of there is stories of one of your kind in our neighboring lands. Though he's sort of... Do your kind give up your job? Do they stop being a witcher at some point? Go on to other things?
Not usually. I suppose it's possible, though. There have been some strange times. I mean, I would say probably I would doubt, for example, like maybe in the past, but as some things change, then I think people can be forced to do what they have to do.
Well, I've not met him, and it's said that he's gone wild, as it were. Perhaps more of the beast in him than. I understand that you, from hunting these creatures, you can take on characteristics of them. Your kind can. Witchers turning into monsters, or is that simply a tale told to children?
Well, we can. I think it is mostly a tale, but we can take on some we can benefit from. I'm trying to think what he used the word alchemically. It seems a little I mean, he knows what it is. Maybe he would. I think he can. We can benefit.
So if you're helping, I think like the way that they seem to present the world is that the level of sophistication for like science and magic or alchemy is about the same as like the late high medieval period or early Renaissance. So like, 'cause they talk, at least in the show, they talk about mutants and alchemical things and magic as if it's a. Like, it's not a mysterious, unknown thing. It's spoken of like it's something that everyone makes use of. If you fight in war, you're going to deal with alchemical, I mean, probably mages, but also there may be alchemical substances that are used, particularly as the things coming from the east get more popular. Explosives is a new introduction and a from the east, and is a feature of that. They may not know the particulars of like where the different classifications of monsters come from, but they certainly know what mutants are. Does that help kind of give a context for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. We can benefit from aspects of the creature in an alchemical kind of way, which I could understand might be interpreted by some as becoming like the creature, but not really. I mean, it will benefit us in ways that perhaps it benefited the creature, or slightly different. But
it's said that this Witcher. I'm not sure how he came to Siedza, but I know he has the ear of the Duke, or at least so it's said. He didn't involve himself. They don't involve themselves in martial endeavors, in the warring of kings and dukes and such.
Not usually. It creates complications, obviously. For if we're out to be hunting creatures, which is our original purpose, to get involved in the politics of mankind is obviously quite involved and complicated. So best avoided, if at all possible. Do you have a name for this?
It's said his name is Marco.
Does that ring a bell, Kevin?
Why don't you give us let's see here. Let's see. Checking the DM screen. Does it have a skill list on it? Does not. Games, if you're publishing a DM screen and you're running a skill-focused game, put that list of skills on there, please.
It's too obvious.
Duh. You know what does that? I think I posted this on Discord. You know what screen does have them on it? Is the West End Games one. You know who was behind the creation of that? George.
Oh yes, it's George.
Let's see here. I think it'll be. It's not going to be education. Why don't you give us a Witcher training? Is Witcher training linked to intelligence?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. So Witcher training. The difficulty is going to be quite hard here, just because it's far north, and so it'll be a 16. Which be the difficulty here.
Okay.
Fumbled. Like seeing that one come up. Nah, you've. I mean, what you know of is the northern. There are different. The schools are located in different places. One of the schools located in the north, I believe it might be the only one in the north in the Dragon Mountains, is the Griffin School.
How appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's along the coastal side of the Dragon Mountains, so it would be to the west of where you are. But here's the thing about the Griffin School is that their training was heavily focused on fighting any number of opponents and using magical power. The school's ability they get is a bonus to their vigor threshold. So they can more easily cast more powerful signs. They were more closely associated with the mages who helped, create the mutations that led to the Witchers, and also to come up with the signs, that crude form of magic that you guys use. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's the school, but I believe that one also is gone. I think the only ones that are active at the time, Viper, I believe, is still active and training, but like the Wolf School is gone at this point. Or actually, I don't really know if it's set up. I believe it's gone.
I mean, probably maybe Warzine doesn't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you would not know. And then the Bear School. Let's see here. Yeah, when there wasn't the need to be hunting quite as many monsters as there was before, and you've got, powerful assets as the kings and queens of the continent may see them, who are not listening to you. Yeah, the Wolf, the Griffin, the Cat School is a caravan, so that probably is still active. The Viper School is in the Tirtokar Mountains, which I believe is to the south. It's like closer to whatchamacallit, the Empire, whatever it's called. Man, I was brain dead this morning. Sorry, guys. Nilfgaard. My goodness. And then there's the Bear School. The Bear School are in the Amel Mountains, and I don't actually know where that is. Let's take a look. I'm just curious as to how unusual this would seem to you. So the Bear School's down here. The Griffin School is up here. Morin is in the Blue Mountains.
It's off to the right, east.
Oh, it's in here?
Right,
in here.
east corner.
Okay, yeah.
There you are, come on.
Yeah, so there it is, right in the map here. So this would have been the region of, and then the Cat School is, in a caravan. Viper is in Tirtokar Mountains, which are, I think to the south of here. I think it's closer to Nilfgaard, if I recall. Yeah, it looks like. So, what that tells you is that unless this Witcher has traveled far, which is possible because you guys do travel quite far, it's possible that they're from the Griffin School. But this fellow, yeah, I guess you've not heard of this person, but there is an obvious question here.
I'm sorry, what was the name again? His name was
his name Marco.
Marco.
And he is said to be closely, his name Marco Yeah. And they call him Marco Oldborn. He is said to be fairly closely connected with Duke Xenon, who is the ruler of Ciezza, and the father of your employer, the Duke of Rava, his wife. I actually have an illustration for your employer now too. Let me show you what the Duke of Rava looks like here, because you guys have met him. I don't believe you've met his wife as of yet. There he is. There is Duke Victor. Young fella.
That's our employer.
That's your employer, yeah. His father-in-law is Duke Xenon. And what he also says is that he seems to have a close connection with a man called Arcadius the Crow. He's the court mage for Duke Xenon. As is the custom in even these northern lands, even minor lords often will have some kind of mage as a kind of a house, either status symbol or just an advisor in magical affairs. And I'll put that in. Arcadius is also spelled in kind of a Polish, Eastern European way. Arcadius the Crow. So,
I cannot place this, Marco. You say that. What would you say his vocation is now?
I don't know. He's been around since before when I was a child. I was born into Rava and entered the service of my lord, or entered my order as a young child, and he sort of gestures to you, as I understand yours did too. And he was a legend even then, before the peace, between between Rava and Ciezza. But he said, you're not familiar with these lands, are you?
I don't think I am. Am I, Kevin? Not really. No. I am not, sadly.
So these are... you're lucky then. You're seeing... I imagine you've seen much of the rest of the world, but I feel that some may forget that these lands are old, as are the people who lived in them. He gestures at where Sindaith is, where he's maybe... Sindaith, are you a dancer at all?
You know what? I think that's actually... Come up here for my skills.
Like, you certainly have no shortage of attention from romantic partners.
I would say yes.
Okay, so you see, Sindaith is dancing with some of the locals as part of the celebration. He gestures and he says, "Their people, they've been here long before men came, and then men came, and they were." Hold on, I made notes of this. The first who came... Well, I think what he says is, because I can't find it right now, there were the first, when men came to the continent, there were the old ones, the old men, the old kind, who came here and when the elves were driven out, they set their settlements and communities and homes and fortresses and fought their wars. And then more men came and drove those north of the mountains, then into the wild reaches. This is... there are hidden in the hills and in the mountain forests all the reminders of those legacies. There are other dangers out there as well, but there are many of them. And what I've heard say is that Marco, the Oldborn, from before when my father was young, he would be seen traveling there, exploring them. I don't know if he is a scholar. These are old lands, and it holds, I'm sure, many secrets. And it's said that the Oldborn knows to speak to them. It's also... There are some who tell their children that the Oldborn will come and take them away to satisfy his dark masters. But I think that that may simply be because we don't know. He certainly seems to have... We don't know what he is doing. And your kind is so rare. Yeah.
You say he has the ear of the Duke.
So it's said. And his mage. The Crow. The Crow, and... You don't know of who your employer is. You don't know of the families?
The son you referred to.
Yes, the Zebas of Rava.
Not well. No.
They are a younger family, brought up by the Zebas, the Sadowskis. The Sadowskis have been in these lands since they drove the old men out, and they have deep history in these hills and a deep connection. Curious that your griffin was black feathered.
Indeed, and hunted at night.
The Sadowskis, it's said from the time of their first coming to these lands and first conquering of them, that they keep ravens. Indeed, the position of Master of Ravens is a favored one within their household. And when the Ravas were brought up, they were erstwhile allies of the Sadowskis and have continued to be them. The neighbors in such harsh circumstances can sometimes make for good partners, and at other times can be made for bitter rivals. The rivalry between the Rava and Siedza was what dominated my childhood, but there are other neighbors and other Zidov to the west of Rava, Galina to the north, Vrunok to the west, and Nita to the south as well. All rival duchies, all with their own ambitions and their own goals. Siedza is at war with Galina, or so it's said. We are, I suppose, technically as the allies, but we have not seen open call of arms and call of swords as of yet. Though with the weather turning, perhaps. I guess one thing that you might be wondering, or so this is out of character, is if there is a Witcher already up here, why did they need you? That's not an unreasonable question to be asking yourself.
I mean, it sounds like he's not working as a witcher. That'd be one answer. He's not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
He's wants to be more of a wise man, a counselor, perhaps, rather than a hunter.
Oh, he spends. If you're asking more about the particulars of it, like he is effectively a hermit, from what they say. Like he's a rumor that people don't see him come into town and get stuff. People say they claim to see him leaving a window, speaking to the crow, or they see ravens flying off in the direction of where there is no town, there is no settlement, and then returning with word. He's more of a rumored presence and spotted the odd time by hunters and so forth in places that he may not expect.
So an eccentricity.
Most definitely. I mean, that... Oh, I'd say that the mutations, what you know, just as context for the Witchers, mutations can take the form of physical mutations or mental as well. It could be Witchers losing, their grip on reality is not an unknown thing.
In what specific area would I keep my eye open for Marco the Oldborn?
He's said to travel in all the wildlands of Siedza. So Siedza, the both Rava and Siedza, they are about 40 or 50 miles across in either direction, and then just full of trees and hills and mountains and whatnot. Like you haven't really taken a look at the geography of these places, partly because your game master is fucking lazy and sleeping on the job. But what you know is that there are 4 communities within Rava, and there are 2 of significance within Siedza. But these are the most recent ones. There's a ton of older places. What he tells you about, like, there are ruins of the old folk. There are ruins said to be saying of the elves, and not just 1 or 2, like several. There are recent communities lost to natural disaster within the last 30 years. One of the sources of frustration, there's a community that was completely lost to avalanche, or not to avalanche, to a rock slide, to an entire section of the Dragon Mountains slid down and just buried them. Said to be a curse. And there are in Siedza, there are 2 significant communities beyond the capitals, or capitals. What you do know is both of these, the defenses in both Siedza and Rava, partly because of the legacy of living in monster-filled mountains and whatnot, partly because of dealing with antagonistic or aggressive old folk. And partly just due to them fighting one another for a long time, they have extraordinary defenses in the keeps for the Sadowskis and for the Zebas could withstand a year or more of siege easily. Unlike some of the other neighbors as well, Rava and Siedza pride themselves on a degree of control. They are not bandit-filled lands, though there is a notorious pack of trolls in Rava. Now, that's not a job you've been hired to deal with, but they are out there. They seem to be on mostly benign, like mostly agreeable basis. A regular, steady, supply of vodka and other liquor keeps the trolls pacified, for the most part. As far as the neighbors, so here's what you know about in Siedza, what he tells you. There are 2 communities beyond the capital, beyond the community built around Siedza's keep. One is an iron mine. So Siedza also has a long-standing iron mine, and that's separate and apart from the one that they collectively want to open And one curious question is, if they are opening this mine once again, why would they need to do that if there's already a functioning iron mine? Or, you know, do they want resources from both? Is there an issue with the one mine? Or, you know, who knows? Whatever the reasoning is to suddenly open this joint mine. The other place is said to have the most beautiful women in all the northern lands.
This is Ciedza, or
this is one of the two communities in Ciedza. One of them is a mining community. One is, well, there's three in total. One which is the community built up around the castle in Ziba. There is the iron mining community, and then there's another one said to have the most beautiful women, all eyes and hair black as night. And the four communities within Rava, he says, there is the stronghold going in the neck. There is a community that has a long-term, like a storm temple to Kriv, the god behind the forefather, the kind of quasi-Odin-esque, you know, god of the northern lands. There is a place that is a very successful tannery, and then there is a place to the north that has, because of just the virtue of so much bedrock in it, it has the only reliable well in the region, but it is it's jokingly referred to as a sub-duchy, because it is Duke Victor's sister, his older sister, who is the one who has control over that. It's unusual for a woman to be a ruler up in here, but she is the ruler. Her name is Lady Odetta. Lady Odetta is the middle. She's older than Duke Victor, and she is younger than Marek. Marek is the one who his elder brother. He's the one who went off on crusade. Lady Odetta runs that community, and she seems to be, because she's in the north and it's closest to where this mining community is that you guys that you're being hired to clear out, and the trouble that Ciedza is having with their northern neighbors, with Galena, the war. One of the reasons why you guys have not actually, or Rava has not really helped out and pitched in with this, is because she's up there and she's sort of she doesn't want to help Ciedza. There is long, like you guys knew before, 200 years worth of tension between these two families. This is the Montagues and Capulets, or the Hatfields and McCoys of the northern regions, who only recently sort of sealed this, or ended this strife between one another. She, it seems, is not so willing to bury the hatchet. And because of that, she has made it difficult for Duke Victor to send anything to the north to try and help out with this, because it would be stationed in her lands effectively. So that is what you find. He mentions, I think, that because if that is where you're intending on going, you will be meeting Lady Odetta soon.
So the town that we're trying to lift a curse from is in her lands?
It's north of her, yeah. It's the way that the lands, you have Rava to the west, and you have Ciedza to the east. right near where the northern part is, where there is close to where both of them border on Galena. Galena is mostly over Ciedza, but it does border on your lands as well. It's close to there where this community is, on Rava land. Rava land used to be Ciedza land as well, too. The Duchy of Rava only exists because it was a grant from one of the ancestors. Right now, the place that you're supposed to clear the hunting out of, or the haunting, is the closest community and the only source of reliable source of clear water. There is Lady Odetta's community, her stronghold, and she seems not to be wanting to make things easy for her younger brother.
And does he know what the disagreement is about between them?
That is in her youth, Lady Odetta, it's said, had a lover. And he was a warrior, and a very capable one. But like many, he fell victim to the violence between the families. It's clear that one of the Ciedza, who himself is now dead, but one of those in service to Ciedza, killed him quite badly, we hear. And it seems that Lady Odetta has never... that is a wound that remains with her. And she, in spite of her her elder brother's efforts to heal the wound between the families, and to her younger brother's now efforts to try and maintain that peace, she still harbors a great deal of resentment for them.
Yes, sir.
She also, she is more akin to her elder brother than younger. Simarek was a fearsome warrior and a very strong-minded man. Concerned about the effects of sharing his opinions.
And that appeals to her.
Lady Odetta greatly favored her elder brother as well.
Would you expect her to interfere with our task?
You are, as I understand it, under the employ of the Duke. Lady Odetta... I wish not to... An accusation of treason is no small thing. I will say that if the Duke had his way, Lady Odetta would have been sending people to assist, and would have helped our allies, the Ciedza, or the Sadowskis and their kin, with their struggles with Galena.
Being so close to her lands, does the lifting of a curse on this town benefit her at all?
I imagine it would. I can't imagine that it would hurt her, but I think that she may value frustrating the goals of the Ciedza, anything that benefits them, over any fortune.
Mm-hmm.
I think if she could give her life so that Duke Xenon led his with a splinter in his foot, that she may see as a fair trade. One cannot underestimate young love. To have lost young love, that leaves a wound I understand, that is unlikely to heal and only fester with age in some cases. And that is the case with Lady Odetta. She loved her suitor greatly.
And you would anticipate that we, if nothing else, will need water from her on this task?
From what I have heard, there is water in the community that you will be that you'll be clearing. Mining, I know very little of it, but water is required for those activities as well. So once that is open, it will provide another, though not on the travel. The one of the strengths that Lady Odetta's community has is it is on the way to the northern regions in Ciedza and to Galena. Not impossible to traverse without water, but the only readily accessible well in 30 miles in either direction makes it a very important destination, particularly in dry seasons.
Well, well, hopefully our interactions with her are positive if they come about.
He laughs. I would hope.
Have you been to the village or the town that we are going to? You have before?
Of course.
The haunted one.
The haunted one? No, I have not. Forgive me. I thought you spoke of the Duke's lands. No, but I've heard that. I heard that it was cursed by the. Well, it depends who you listen to. I've heard that it is a curse brought of a strife between the families. But if that was the case, then I would have thought that curses would be lifted by the first marrying Marek to old Xenon's daughter. And then when Marek died on Crusade, it was only through fast thinking of the now departed Duke that our Duke Victor was married to him. Although now we have heirs from two fathers, sired by the same daughter. Did you meet the Duke's children?
I don't think so, did we?
No.
No, I did not have the pleasure.
Well,
just
then,
the Duke.
Did you know? And he's a little, the fact that he's giving you, like, telling you so much so frankly, he's a little deep in his cups. So it seems he doesn't hold his liquor as well as you do. So he may not be as forthcoming when sober. But what he says is the Sir Marek, before he went on crusade, wasted little time siring an heir off of Anita. His son, Marek, is so his son is Conrad, the eldest.
Marek's the dead one?
Marek is the dead one, yeah.
Yeah.
Sir Marek sired a son and then went on crusade. After his passing, and after the Duchess's marriage to Duke Victor, she sired two more children, a daughter, Sarah, and a son, Cyril. Cyril and Sarah are both offspring of Victor. Mm-hmm. So we now have the eldest son of the Sadowski line is Conrad. Mm-hmm. And then the eldest son of the Duke's line is Cyril. So we wish our Duke Victor a long and happy life before dealing with the question of which of the sons of Anita would be in position to become our next Duke.
So it would not be automatic according to line. It will be up to the old Duke.
As with many things, these are... There are some who, among our order, who feel that Marek was a true crusader, a devotee of the Forefather, a real leader both of men and of men at court and of men in a battlefield. Duke Victor is a brilliant man, but a duke. There are places for clever men, no doubt, but these lands require a firm hand, and there are some who may favor the continuation of Sir Marek's line over those of the Duke.
Hmm. Who... Do you have any guesses as to who, if someone in particular would have been responsible for the cursing of this town that we're headed to? Do you have any guesses?
Well, that's the other. I said these are old lands, and some say it was the families. Others say it's an elf curse. Others say it's the old folk. The ones who, and he gestures to sort of in the southerly direction, the ones who attacked there, I saw what you saw. And you see his eyes, you may realize now why he's drinking quite so heavily, because while he's likely seen combat and he's seen, bandits perhaps, and perhaps monsters and whatnot, I don't think that this young knight has ever seen anything like what you guys saw in that village before. He says, that's them. That is the old folk. You have seen the handiwork of what they can do.
Hmm.
They knew these lands before our forefathers came here.
Why do you think they did that?
Why do they do anything? It's said those in the mountains, they deal with dragons. Dragons!
Do I believe that? I mean, do I have any...
Yeah, give us a Witcher check. A Witcher training check.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, it's a good roll. So I just want to look it up so you know. Yeah, so there is... there are scholars who have traveled beyond the Dragon Mountains. Let's quickly maybe take a look at the map once again. When the people, and I thought I wrote down the name of the cultures, but there's the history of the lands it's a series of just, newcomers coming and then fucking over the people who lived there before. The humans coming here is what fucked over the elves and the other races that were living here, the Vran, the Werebubs. But there were basically the first two cultures of humans that arrived. One went south, one went north. And the ones that went to the north all settled into largely these areas. The second wave of humankind that came here, so the first wave came with the conjunction of the spheres. Second wave came over the water. The second wave, when it arrived, sort of drove out those first arrivals of humans and drove them away, either through intermarriage or through extermination or through just dislocation. With the elder races having already been pushed into those, many of those hard to find regions, it's sort of, it's the rock and the hard place situation where a lot of those early humans were just exterminated. But some figured out they could just go beyond the edge of the Dragon Mountains. This is where the map ends here. That is not where the world ends. And there are whole races, whole cultures that have thrived for hundreds of years beyond the north. I think the most recent immigration of humans is, I believe, 500 years. But humans have been in here for around 1,000. And what you've heard is that there is... Where is it here? When I was doing my research for this, I came across a pretty interesting story. There is said to be a circle of druids up there. They call themselves Circle of Gwyncarn. And in that frozen land of deep forests and wind-swept plains that lies beyond the northern mountains, beyond the Dragon Mountains, they are said to have somehow worked out a arrangement with an ancient white dragon named Galvel Sethteeth. That seems to have soured eventually over time, and it's said that the druids of the Circle of Gwyncarn were powerful enough to actually slay this thing. They killed an elder dragon when things went from being good to bad. Again, neighbors can sometimes be, your mortal enemies, sometimes your best friends, and sometimes both. Just it depends on what time you're looking at it. The folk who live beyond there, they're incredibly hardy, and they are gifted in a form of magic that is just not really known or common south of the Dragon Mountains. You would know this from before, from encountering them on the way up, the ability to shapeshift and stuff like that. Like, those are all things that the druids are said to have. So what he's saying about the old folk, they're not wrong. Like, they knew things about magic, either that they learned from the elder folk or they discovered themselves, or a combination of the two that just is not known to those in the south. There are arrogant mages who would say that they, it's crude magic and not, it's not true magic, in the sense that, it's folk, it's not based on any kind of science or whatnot. But, with a roll that good, there's definitely power among those people as well. So there may be something to what he's saying. They wouldn't build something that would channel magic in the way that, say, the elves would, but they may have they have a connection with the primal nature of these places that is something that the latecomer humans have never been able to really appreciate or capture.
And this Circle of Druids is all up north, where the northern old folk, old people, old men.
Yep. The old folk, those tribes that went to the north that are said to be descendants of the old folk, they're the Circle of Gwyncarn. And I'll put that in chat, actually, because it's, I know how you guys all know how to spell Gwyncarn, but just out of an abundance of caution.
For the audience.
Exactly. So that's just the humans. And they also learned of things from the elves. And it's easy to think of the elves as just having a ubiquitous, single, history behind there because, the continent is racist. But the elves had a complex and deep history in these lands way before the conjunction of the spheres. That dates back thousands of years. And many of those things are up here too. That's what the ruins that are up here in the north, these are things that were old and ancient and forgotten well before the conjunction of the spheres ever occurred. Mm-hmm. So some say it's ancient magic. Some say it's a curse. He thinks it's a curse. He thinks that the haunting is connected with some kind of curse because that's around, it was right in the heat of when there was this rivalry between the two. The reason it's close to the border of the Siedza, so it sort of has gone back and forth before, and then finally it was cursed and no one could use it.
And how long has this curse been in place?
200 years.
Do I know whether curses that last that long, does that tell me anything? Does that make them more powerful?
Well, the thing is, curses typically, like curses, I guess, could manifest in a way where it causes undead to be there. Like, what you would know as a witcher with your training is that what people refer to as the undead is not usually accurate, because there's not really, like, unless people are working forbidden magics like necromancy or something like that, you're not really like zombies and skeletons and ghouls in the sense of like risen creatures that feed on the lifeblood of things. It doesn't really exist in this world. There are things called necrophages that feed on the dead, but they're not undead, like they're not unliving things. They're just a very completely alien form of life. That was one of the things that was deposited during the conjunction of the spheres. They just have a way of existing that's completely different and outside of the normal cycle of other, other living things on the continent. But what there is spirits. Undead and unquiet spirits are definitely part of. They are a form of undead, and there's a wide variety of different spirits that can be found in the north. But they generally aren't connected with a curse per se. They sometimes have like, connections with unfinished work, the kind of things that we would think of like ghosts in our world, where there is a, strong and negative emotions can lead to a spectral haunting of some kind or another. But it's rare that, or at least you're not aware of, a curse that would cause a place to be haunted by specters, per se. So there are two different threats. That's why I've sort of corrected you when you've mentioned it as being a cursed place. You're not wrong that the locals seem to think of it that way, but technically speaking, a curse is a very specific magical thing. And it can be really wild and very unique and extremely powerful. Curses can be extraordinarily powerful in the continent. But it would be a really rare thing for a place to be cursed with just having a bunch of undead there. It's not unheard of, but if that's the case, then either the place may be if it is a curse, the circumstances of it arising must be extremely unfortunate, or it would have to be a very a thing. Curses in the continent often have a sense of the poetic, or at least poetic justice. So there's usually some kind of like comeuppance that's involved there. And as far as you know, there's not. You haven't heard anything about like hubris or some kind of betrayal or something of the kind that you would often find here. Maybe you just don't know enough yet, and it's been lost by the intervening centuries by the people there. But these folks have a grudge that or blood feud that goes back longer than this haunting has gone on. You'd think that they would remember that. If there was some kind of betrayal behind that, then that would inform the reason for the curse. Does that make sense?
Did our original employment include information that so-called undead were there? It includes undead?
Yeah, that's what you've heard, is that the place is haunted.
Okay.
The reason
and haunted always involves undead. Is that correct?
Haunted, again, but it depends on the people. There's all sorts of what haunting might be because they just don't know any better. Haunting could definitely be specters. It could be a wide variety of different dangerous specters, which all have sort of different. There are some commonalities, but there are different techniques you use. But people also sometimes refer to that as like there are things called godlings. Godlings are small, very powerful, localized spirits. And if you piss them off, the way they manifest their powers can seem to the uneducated like haunting. There's also things called remnants, ancient spirits from before the conjunction of the spheres, things that are things that are native to this environment that just don't have a place anymore. They're not like the monsters of the conjunction of the spheres where they were deposited in an alien world where they don't have a ecological niche. These are things that don't have a place anymore. Powerful spirits that dead or forgotten peoples used to pray to, or perhaps occupied a niche that has been fundamentally changed by the intervening years and the catastrophes associated with the conjunction. those things can also manifest themselves as hauntings or seem like hauntings to the uneducated, but they're very different things.
And I ask him, does anyone thought to live in this haunted town at this point?
None can. The last who it's said to have ventured out there, my grandfather, when he was a child, in his age, and those who formed the expedition, none returned. The community you're heading to, it is not on a direct route. It is easy enough to forego, and while you would not want to camp within, near the road leading up there, the sounds and the dreams that some are said to have from there, deeply disturbing. But I'm not sure anyone has tried to set foot in there or at least for any length of time, for nigh on 70 years now. I cannot speak for the Sieda and for Duke Xenon and his people, but our Duke and the folk of Rava, they have not been there in 70 years. Suicide to go there, it's said. Though, and he gestures at you, sloshing his drink a little bit. I expect that is your bread and butter, no?
We shall see. And I, cheers him or, I mean, I think the Witcher tries to fake human affect while he's, he kind of knows what he's supposed to do, so he tries to do it once in a while. Mm-hmm. Here you go. Yeah. There's your cheers, human.
Would you give us a what is it? Human empathy or human perception? Yeah. Human perception, I think the skill's called.
Oh. Something weird happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've seen this. One of the reasons why the Witchers are the way they are, it's said that it's by some that your lack of empathy, the coldness that you present in your interactions, that it's a byproduct and an unintended one. But that kind of hardening also inures the mind to face the horrors that you deal with as a Witcher. You are aware, having served around, quote unquote normal humans, perhaps especially during your time as a mercenary, you saw the impact that violence and carnage can have on individuals, and you are absolutely picking that up from Sir Richard right now. He has that, and maybe you hadn't noticed it before because you just attribute it to his lack of sobriety, but his hands aren't shaking, but you can see there's that just even when he looks away from you, he has that bulging, wide-eyed sort of look, like he's just, while he may not be looking at something, he's clearly playing something over in his mind as his mouth just jabbers on about things he probably shouldn't be, talking about.
So horrors, he's haunted in a sense.
Yeah, like the sort of confident and idealized version of a knight that you met before, when you first met him, when you talked about his duty and his honor and blah 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 and all that stuff. That's not the man who's sitting next to you right now.
And do I have a sense that this is really fresh? I mean, do I think
100%?
Okay.
Yeah. If there's anything when he mentioned the witnessing what the old folk did to the people of that village, that's where his hands trembling a little bit. You can see his half-empty glass is sloshing a little bit. He's got that wild-eyed look. I think he's carrying a lot more back from that village than what that you forget sometimes. What the cost that witnessing that stuff and seeing that stuff can have on other people, because they're just not like you. And you entered the Witcher school as a kid, so like you've never. This is not like, oh, I knew it, I'm being a prick now. It's like you've never, for the life of the, you know, since you were a kid, you've never known those kinds of emotions, and it hasn't had the same impact. So seeing that this knight is carrying that thing, I think that Selena was the first one in that village on her own. Now, she hasn't mentioned anything about carrying anything from that, but does it make you consider what weight she might be carrying, having been through that and experienced that, particularly on her own? Because you rolled really well for human perception, so I think this is one of your rarely insightful moments of like, oh wait, like there's more than just cuts and scratches and whatnot that these horrors have on, the impact they have on people.
And probably, the booze, it's a good time for this. That, it helps, lowers everyone's walls, even a Witcher once in a while. And, and so I think...
while Sindaithos was dancing with everyone, and maybe Selena, where are you, do you think, during this thing? Is she dancing with people? Like, is she having a good time at this party as well?
Yeah, I guess so. Yep.
Okay, so she seems to be, which it sounds like it's kind of unusual for her. Like, guard down, having a good time. She's a young lady at a party. And I imagine you also have, there are no shortage of, clumsy farmhand suitors who are wanting to, take your hand for a dance as well, Selena.
Yeah, but while she is cynical and worldly wise on some level, she's still a kid at 13 anyway as well. So.
Yeah. So you look over and yeah, she's... this doesn't seem like, it's rare that you've had a chance to see her just having a good time the way that she is right now.
Yeah, he's... I think that Werzium is allowing himself the booze, and that it's a party, and that there's not any... There's no danger. There's kind of it's a not unique but unusual set of circumstances, and he's got this warrior he's talking to that's giving him a lot of valuable information, and they're having an actual good conversation. So Werzium's allowing himself to, rather than kind of brush it off and say, I've got things to do. Like I'm not going to get all weepy over whatever, which is his usual. So he's got time, and he's got booze, and he's got, someone giving him information. And, anyway, so it's all kind of coalescing. And he's got everyone in sight. There's really nothing going on. He can't convince himself that, this is nonsense. I've got things to do. So I think he even he might even venture forth minorly for him and try to, bolster Sir Richard a bit, probably still a little awkwardly, but to his best ability, leaning on a warrior's approach, and lean in and say, don't carry too much with you. Time will help a bit. That village was quite a sight, I know.
Okay, why don't you give us a... see here.
If it's anything from the empathy category, it will ruin the moment.
I think he is primed, so the difficulty here is going to be quite is going to be better. It will be from, I think, a charisma or persuasion is likely appropriate, and you remember you can't spend luck as well if you don't want the mechanical. Benefit. Let me just move you over to your token too. Sorry, I took you away from there. Here you guys are.
Nice.
Do you want to spend luck?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. You fill out your taxes. Come on.
There we go. Back to.
So it is the. Oh no! You know what? I don't think you. So you only spend one because it's not. It's not enough. You're not offending him though. Like it wasn't the critical fail. You just sort of say that stuff, and he sort of catches himself, and he tries to cover it up as best he can. He says, "Yes, well, such is our duty, though, or at least ours." And he, you can tell, like, just from your human perception, he's shutting down, but this is what is to be expected, right? Like, it's tough. It's a tough thing to recognize that one's weakness, and they're just not built like you, you know, in the sense of the what exposure, what you can survive as far as exposure to trauma is concerned.
Worseum's, used to this. This reminds him probably, as he's like, his mind is wandering like a semi-inebriated person would, where he goes, oh yeah, this is like when like a comely lass comes up to me thinking, oh, he's interesting, he's built, he's like, he's unique, this is going to be hot. And then he opens it, and then Worseum opens his mouth and it all just goes to hell.
Exactly.
It's just ridiculous.
Well, I love the idea that he was like, oh man, I know this is going to go poorly. And then tries to say something anyway, and it goes as poorly as expected. Yeah. So, and it just, So anyway, I think then he says another couple of words. He says, well, is there more business you have in Midway, or will you be ready to make out for the neck?
No, our only business is seeing about the dwarf, getting him on his feet, and then we need to press on.
So mechanically, I think that would take a couple of days for him to be like the wise woman who he's been buying some stuff from. She could assist with that. One thing I would mention too, but speaking of the wise woman, if Worseum, remember that Worseum is limited. You've only got a couple of formulae for your different oils and potions and whatnot, and for the way of learning the signs as well. The Griffin School, if this Marco Oldborn is indeed a Witcher of the Griffin School, there may be some unusual signs that you just you would have no idea how to cast them. And he may very well also, they are renowned alchemists, so they could very well have he could have access to a bunch of other formulae that you may learn. So if you want to learn more like oils for your things, or whatever they're called, I can't remember the potions are called. It's potions and oils and mutagens, right? Those are your three.
It sounds reasonable. That sounds approximately correct.
Yeah, I can't remember if they're called.
So things keep in mind in this region.
Yeah, you definitely could try and seek that out. Potions, it is. That's the three different components. So, Sindaith, I think you come over and you sit down from dancing. The Sir Richard, hearing that you're going to be a while, Sir Richard gets up and says, he looks over and you can see he's going to try, he's not quite sure how to end the conversation, whether to thank you or whatnot, and he just simply says, "You did good for these people, Witcher."
That's what I did. So I'm going to keep it. I keep it practical and then productive, and I'll say it's what I do.
Okay.
And then I say. And as he's turning, I say, as because it was something I meant to mention to him earlier. I say, if in our travels to different settlements, I may need a reference to an accomplished blacksmith, if you know one.
He turns. Equipment. He sort of peeks up and he says, is your gear in need of repair?"
Indeed.
I cannot speak to the comparison for the places you've traveled, but he pulls his sword out and sort of lays it down, and he says, "This was forged by the smith in the fortress of the Neck, the Keep of the Forefathers," and he gestures it out to you. Do you have crafting and crafting. So craft and crafting. Bold choice to have your stat called craft and have your skill called crafting.
That is a bold choice.
I'm going to use my strength and strengthening combo. So go ahead and give us a craft and crafting check, please. If you don't have crafting, it's just a flat craft.
There you go.
Yeah, this is, there's nothing fancy about it, whatnot, but like this is some, whoever made this thing, like, they know how to make something to make, to make an implement to make things dead. Most definitely. And you sort of feel it too, like good weight to it as well. And he says,
yeah. And
this,
a
day's travel away.
I'll look at him since, he expects, once again, I'm thinking, what would a human expect here? And I'll stand up and, he wants to fawn over his sword a bit, so I'll swing it around. I'll take a step away, and I'll give it a swing or two. And
give us a
well-crafted man.
What is it? Swordsmanship? That was called?
Sword. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of choices. Swordsmanship, I guess, for this, just a...
I just want to see what kind of display we see here.
Yeah, it's just that I got to pick one. That's why I'm saying, the paperwork. It's the paperwork.
Yeah, reflex and sword. Oh, yeah, for what you're rolling, I got it. Yeah, this would be not a strong attack. A strong attack will give you -3.
Oh, yeah. Special move. I wonder what that does. I don't know if that's just a off.
Kill bystander.
Right. Strike the barmaid by accident.
Exactly.
My bad. Okay. It's going to do... stuck on it. Hang on a second. Let's try this. There we go. Let's see. Hopefully.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. What do you think your display looks like?
I mean, it's super easy. As awkward as anything having to do with empathy is. This is easier than walking. Like he whips around his head a few times. He knows that the man expects something,
and he gets a show. 21 is pretty freaking good. So like he just his eyes get wide, and not in that panic kind of way this time. He's in awe of your skill.
And the Witcher's not that concerned about his awe, and weighs this. Well, he's pleased that he goes, oh, good. The human, I did the right thing. Like I could stop speaking and like wield the sword and get what. Yeah, honestly, and get what I wanted.
This seems to have like distracted him and has him, less reminiscing on. What do you call it? On at least less, not reminiscing, but like less dwelling or ruminating on whatever it was he saw, and perhaps there's also a connection of like if the rare times where you find yourself ruminating on stuff, the best way to get your mind off of it is find something to kill. Mm-hmm. So like why didn't you think of this? Like this is precisely how these guys were trained. Don't think about what you're doing, just keep fighting. Him sitting around drinking and thinking too long about what he's exposed to is probably, poison for him.
Yeah, the Witcher may even have in his with the drinking and all of this unusual ruminating on human emotions. He may even think to himself, "Okay, next time that someone looks at me funny after I say something terrible again at the bar, I'll just ask to see their sword."
Yeah,
then I'll do this.
I think in the long run, I think like it, some kind of therapy is likely what this guy needs, not just like just keep fighting shit, you'll be fine. But I mean that is the way that's the way you were trained, and likely the way he was trained as well too. So you finish up this display, and then what happens?
I'm pleased that because that's really, I could care less about the sword, but I was pleased that he's pleased. That was the whole point. Fine. I bolstered him like this since I couldn't do it with words, and I offer him his sword back with a bit of, like this is a fine blade, as you say.
Yep. Okay. So he says, good. Well, the fortress or the keep of the forefather is not far. If you need assistance, the blacksmith there, I'm certain, could aid.
And you say, is it on our way?
Well, we will be passing right through it. We'll be overnighting there, in fact.
Well, then let us speak again when we arrive about it.
Good. And he, with a great deal, that sort of like practiced way, he, it's back in the sheath. And he says, enjoy the evening, Witcher. And he kind of leaves off. Sindaith, you've seen, I think, in Selena. Well, Selena's probably having fun, with it. Sindaith, you look over and you see that where the knight is finally leaving Werzium, and like they've been talking for a long time. And I mean, you're a little thirsty right now, so perhaps you grab a drink and come over and sit down next to Werzium.
So, how's I rarely see you as fleet of foot, mage.
Well, we've had a good victory. We've been successful. We've got money in our pocket. Life is good.
Who are you eyeing here? Does she have a sister?
Oh, I have her and her sister on the deck.
There's two farm girls who are kind of, on the dance floor.
But perhaps I could be cajoled into sharing one.
Don't get greedy, mage.
So, what was that knight doing over here with you for so long?
You know what a conversationalist I am. Couldn't help myself. In reality, I'm afraid he is. He couldn't be silenced if I wanted to. He said a great deal. I'm trying to keep it all straight. He was full of information, I assume more than he would be sober, about the lands, about the families, about the feuds, a bit about the haunting.
Selena, you're free to join over as well. I don't want to exclude you just because she could see that everyone's sitting down right now.
I'll wave her over. I'm feeling strange. It's weird. I don't wave people over unless I'm probably going to attack them.
Watch yourself. Keep those daggers handy, Selena. So you all sit down. Selena, you would have likewise seen, I think, as well. Like the once or twice you saw them over there, Werzium seemed to be in fairly intense conversation with this knight, which is distinctly unlike your guardian.
Must have been drinking a lot.
Yeah. Oddly enough, Werzium seems to have a nearly full cup at this point.
I will get a mug and look at Selena and point at it and put it down, and then continue conversing with Sindaith and say, he actually offered a great deal of information. I hope I don't forget it when I'm sober, but we're going to have to make our peace, apparently, with our employer's aunt?
Elder sister.
Elder sister. I'm sorry, that's right. Who controls the lands contiguous to the town our task lies in. And she has apparently one of the only reliable water wells in the area, though the knight thought we might be able to avoid having to beseech her for such a thing. That the haunted village was at least said to have its own water, though no one has apparently gone there for 70 years, and it's suicide to go is his understanding.
Well, if we need to sweet talk her, then it's probably best if you keep away then, old man. And contiguous, that's a big word for a witcher.
There she is. You left the dance. You left the dance floor. I push the cup. I push the mug at you. Slide it your direction.
Well,
you seem dry.
I thought it was full. Okay, so I wave over at one of the barmaids.
Yeah.
The old man's thirsty.
So one of the...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, someone comes over and fills up all your drinks for you.
I was just telling Sindaith that the knight was quite chatty and telling me about the lands, the families, the feuds, and a bit about the town in which our task lies. Not to mention, I asked him about, we will be going to a fortified settlement probably tomorrow, on our way to our task. And he said that there is, he swore by the blacksmith there, for example, that I will probably be visiting. So perhaps the keep of the forefather in the neck, as he put it. And so maybe be thinking of things you might need before we get there, because this might be your best bet.
Well, I am looking something from near my home place of Temeria, so maybe I'll ask if they've got something there. Maybe he has such things.
Yes, I have been nursing my equipment a bit lately, and it would be nice to have it seen to. That these infernal blacksmiths charge so much. I'm trying to remember all he said. There was a great deal. He talked a good deal about the people of the North. The old folk lands, as he put it, full of the people that were forced out by the humans here. And mentioned a circle of druids. There is much up there. If we ever feel like seeing new lands, it could be interesting. Not that we don't have enough on our plate at the moment. How was the dancing?
Very good.
Young one?
Clodhoppers, all of them.
Can't keep up with you, eh?
No idea how they till a field when they've got two left feet.
Liftity purses.
This is the first evening, I think, in a very long time for them where they actually don't have cows within the walls of Midway Village too. So I think, yeah, like it's a lovely. It seems like it's a long delayed harvest. They apart from the ranger or the hunter who they lost to, like they didn't lose any people from it. So like it's it's unfortunate that guy died, but it's not like they lost a good swath of their people to this. So they're able to pretty much have the festival as they had originally intended, albeit late. So. And these type of places, like there's only one or two of these really big shindigs a year. So this is it's quite the show that you're seeing. Sindaith, was there anything you heard us talk about that we could assume that Werzium would be able to relay most of what we talked about before?
Right.
Is there anything that you wanted to talk to Werzium about, or Werzium and Selena?
I don't think so, really, other than asking Werzium what he really thinks is going on. Because I know he was kind of discussing the nature of, is it spirits, is it something else?
Yeah. Oh, would not Sindaith is here. Sindaith, would you give us an education check, please?
As soon as we get over here, that's good.
Or Monster Lore, either of those, whichever one's better.
I think I have. Yeah, definitely education's better.
Okay, go right ahead. Whoa.
That's pretty good.
Okay. So this is something about the elves. I think we talked about this a little bit before. But there is said to be, there is a goddess known by some as the Queen of the Vale. She is an ancient goddess of war, knowledge, fate, spirits, and magic. Her name is Morrigan.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
Morgan, in particular, has been. It's the one of the people in amongst other places in the Nimhar Valley. I can't remember where that is. Nimhar. Is it on the map here?
I'm looking.
I'll have to look on the wiki afterwards. I don't see it at a glance here.
I was looking at anything that looked like it might be a valley.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I don't see it.
I don't
jumping
see it
out.
in here either. But all right, that does not matter. But you know, Morrigan. So there are humans. Some of the old folk who prayed to her. But what is less well known is that Morrigan is a fickle goddess who turned her attentions from the elves to the humans when they came. She answered to both. Morrigan is not a popular goddess with the elves, or wasn't. It's said at the time of the conjunction, and that she had been left behind for other elven gods who asked, I suppose, less of them. But all this talk about like ravens and crows and whatever else, and this bizarre mutated griffin, all of this to you speaks of that ancient goddess of war and magic and lore. You're 22, so you know what? It's not that you know about them, but you know the gap in knowledge of the elven communities up here. As I said, elven history goes back way longer than what, the humans do here.
Mm-hmm.
It is at the time of the conjunction, these lands were not widely populated by elves, but there are ancient ruins here. And one of the things that he mentioned is there's at least like 4, I think, different instances of elven ruins to be found in Ciedza, and a similar number in, there's 3 in Rava of different communities, and there's 1 in Ciedza. That is unusual. Not only is it by the virtue of how many there are here, there also is your understanding and your of the history of your peoples. These were not populated lands. These are not people who died out because of or not elves at least, who died out because of the influx of the old folk. They were gone before the old folk got here.
Hmm.
And something that might be of interest to you, those ancient elves and the pacts, Morrigan, like many gods, is said to work through intermediaries. But they had workings with, in the same way that the druids have ancient and different magics, they seem to truck in a similar way with spirits and those that walk worlds. So someone who may, say, be interested in finding out what happened when someone seemingly disappeared between those gaps or rifts in worlds. Perhaps the ancient elves had some insight into that.
What are you thinking, Mage? You haven't said anything. You're making me nervous.
I don't think Sindaith has mentioned any of his dreams to anyone yet either.
No. But I reckon now's probably... Well, I don't know. We're all happy.
I know you mages.
We're all in a good mood. I don't want to ruin it.
I know you mages like your secrets. Drink more. And he pushes another mug at you.
Perhaps later.
You also, there is a mage The Duke also has a court mage. His name is Walerion of Novigrad. Just and as far as
the young Duke.
The young Duke, yeah, his mage is Walerion of Novigrad. The older Duke Xenon of Siedza, his court mage is Arcadius the Crow. Sorry, Will, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just knew that.
No, you're fine.
Your character would have. That's one of the things you would have asked about. I think just by virtue of your, profession.
Mm-hmm. It's more information, possibly source to ask. But I could, indeed, speak to one of the mages. And see what information they have. If they know anything specific or have any ideas.
Although I don't think they're close. I mean, that one's probably behind us. I mean, these, where we were hired rather than where we're.
Oh, no. Walerion. Remember, too, Sindaith is not capable of doing it yet, but powerful mages are able to. One of the reasons why you want to have a mage is because they can teleport. They can open gates between places. And this nonsense of traveling intervening distances. Now, the Duchy of Rava is by no means a wealthy thing, so he may have a novice or less experienced mage. But in any event, you would kind of keep one around partly as an advisor, also partly as a protector. It's one of the ways that the mages in the continent have sort of wheedled their way into the courts, is that in part to provide advice on what do you call it, for things of a magical nature, in part because the mages themselves are a powerful political force across the continent and across the different kingdoms, and also as a protector for if someone would attack with this. Magic is one of those things where you've seen how devastatingly effective Sindaith can be, and if you don't have some kind of magical defenses, sometimes it's just a matter of I guess I'm dead now. So, what we were talking about, sir, before I interrupted you with that info about...
No, you're fine. No, I was just pondering about speaking with one of the mages about their insight into the haunting, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea. Yeah, you should follow up on it.
Yeah. And did you say that both of them are here, or just...
They're not here. One of them, Walerion, would be in the court of the Duke of Siedza, which is, I believe, 2 days ride away. There'll be 1 day to get up to the neck, and then it'll be another day to reach Rava Castle or Rava Keep.
Yeah.
Or I guess it would be Siedza Keep. Probably has a name as well, too. One of the things I'm doing on my vacation, a map for this campaign. That one's going to be easier to draw than a city. I've been postponing the city because I don't get to draw a whole bunch of trees and forests and shit like that. I have to just draw a fucking map. So this one will be much easier, but I do intend to do that on the break. But to get there is 2 days travel, and then the Crow, Arcadius the Crow, will be in the seat of Siedza, which is, depending on what way you're going, either 2 days travel or 3 days travel.
Oh yeah, and that's the place with all the beautiful women, right?
No, but that is in there. That's a different community that's in there. But yes, legendary. You may have heard it mentioned by other people that so and so, their wife there comes from this town.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean they come from this? And there's a whatever whatever fortune smiles on that place. The most beautiful women in all the northern reaches seem to come from that, or said to come from that village.
So we're probably going to have to be here a bit to wait for the dwarf to get on his feet. and then we need to press on. Thinking a couple of days, and then we will roust him out of his bed.
Yeah, he definitely needs to rest up. And I'm sure I could probably assist with his healing magically.
Yeah.
That would be welcome.
I mean, that this healing spell is actually ridiculously good in my mind.
I informed the knight of our schedule.
Okay. Yep, and he says when you are ready to depart, we shall be.
Very good.
So, how much time do you guys want to spend? I guess first off, is there anything else Selena? We've left you sort of out in the cold for almost the entire session. What is there anything you wish to do while you are here? Any trouble you wish to get up to?
I think city girl, village. It's a bit nice. Everyone's having fun, but it's a village.
Yeah. Okay.
So she's still dreaming of her poignard.
Yeah.
And that's not a euphemism.
It does make sense that she would name her bow after some kind of weapon. So then, if there's nothing else that you guys wish to do this evening, then perhaps I'll leave it to you guys to decide how you're sort of feeling at the end of this celebration. But the village itself seems to be thrilled. Now, gear. Let's talk about anything you wish to. What are you taking from these people? Are you taking cash or are you taking trade? It's 200 in trade or 100 in cash, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess I think so.
I'd go cash. I've only so much need for cows.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is what we would need.
Things that might be useful for the doctor would include like formulae, any of the common formulae he can get from for the alchemical stuff from the wise woman. Anything you guys need?
Yeah, I've got rations.
You can prorate those up between the different options as well too. You can choose to take like 50 gold and 100 in trade if you want, or whatever other ratio of those two things you wish.
And we've upgraded our armor.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What would that?
Nothing else? What I'll do is maybe between now and next session to take a look and see if there's anything else you wish to.
Yeah.
I'm fine with retroactively adding on. I imagine Robert may want to pick out some stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
It'd be easier with chatting with Robert to see if he has any strong desire.
Yep.
As the alchemist of the group.
Yeah, because this is an opportunity to flesh out more of his. If nothing else, if there's nothing of value that you guys wish from here, even just grabbing 100 or 200 crowns worth of formulae, that really gives him a good selection of things he can make with the stuff you guys are picking up.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, so then a couple of days pass, and we're not really going to focus on the doctor. We'll figure out what his recovery is afterwards. But once are you waiting for him to heal fully, or are you waiting for him to just get good enough so that he's able to move?
You want to take a magical crack at it, Sindaith, just to see on timing?
So he was at 0, and I don't remember if he had any other issues. But here we go. Healing with magic. A ritual of life. Healing spell. Here we go. Let's see if we've got on Robert's sheet here what kind of injury he suffered. I can't remember if he suffered any criticals or not, or if it was just his hit points are down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. No. No. Okay, nothing there. Oop. So apart from a bunch of scores being down, I don't know where the criticals go, to be honest, on this sheet.
Yeah, I don't think there is. I don't record them on the sheet. I don't think there is a spot.
Oh, so let's see if it's under bio and info. Nothing on bio and info either.
Yeah, there's no spot for it. That's the thing.
I guess normally you don't survive, so it doesn't matter.
I think what it's supposed to be is under because a lot of them have attribute penalties. So if you click on the little lock key next to it, you can open up and add modifiers in there. But I don't see one on here, and I didn't actually rewatch last session in preparation for today, so I didn't see. So if that's the case, then let's see here. Let's assume it's simple. What it would just be then is 4 uses of the healing spell, and then he would be right as rain. What is your healing spell you're using, Sendayev?
So it's called Magic Healing.
Magic Healing, okay.
Yep.
I do appreciate a to-the-point name for a spell.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they've got all these, like, Anye and...
Yeah.
You know, Uri and Shelter, and then, Magic Healing.
Yeah, there you go. So it costs you 5 stamina. How many rounds could you cast that consecutively?
Well, okay, now let me...
Oh, it heals 3 per round, but lasts for 1d10 rounds.
1d10 rounds.
Okay.
Although, I thought I had it set... Oh, do I... Okay, I guess it does set up to do the 1d10. I'll have to do that by hand.
Mm-hmm. That's 18 you'd heal from your first. So let's see, where is our doctor here? Herr Doctor. There we go. Copy. Let's bring him over. See if we can't fix his token as well. I think Robert will approve we start you off with, oh boy. What has happened here? Hold on. I think something might have. I think he may have changed the. Aha. Okay. He changed the wrong stat on his hit points. That's why his stats are so crap right now. So his hit points should be. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's see. Now, I'm going to try fixing his. There we go. Max is 25. Oh, no. There we are. And his luck. All right, so he's only got 25 hit points. Or health points max in this game. So yeah, so like eight if you're healing 18, you're restoring a heck of a lot just with one casting of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's fine.
Yeah. And I don't think we'll check with Robert may be recording it elsewhere, like offline. But there we go. Okay, so. Can you guys all see those? Here, see. There we go. All right, and let's update his token once again as well. Come on, you edit. Select a token. Boom. Okay. So, yeah, I think with 1 day's use of magical healing, you're able to restore him to full. So then, anything you guys wish to do before you set out for the neck? What do you think your healing magic looks like, Sindaith?
That's a good question. I almost feel it's very subtle. His healing magic is very subtle, but because of the way it works, it's almost like a regeneration.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he kind of lays his hand, on the forehead, speaks, and then you see, the wounds start to close. You see probably a flushness of the person as their blood is accelerated throughout their body to, get the clotting and everything done. So nice. I suspect it's very subtle, but you kind of see that effect on the person.
Okay, love it. All right, so then, Dr. Ashram is restored, or Dr. Greyvac is restored back to full as a result of your magics. Now, Werzium, one thing to consider, Dr. Greyvac travels with his full alchemy, lab and whatnot. Your mutagen, this Raven Griffin or Dark Black Griffin's mutagen, it'll be an alchemy 18 to properly process it. What are you thinking? I guess first off, is that a mutagen that you would want? +2 to melee damage.
Because it's permanent, so you get 2. Can't be undone. I think I'm going to think about it. Like I'm going to, give it some thought.
Okay. I'll take a look at the book. What I'm thinking is that it's not going to be evergreen. Like you sort of have to make a decision to convert it into the mutagen. Doesn't mean you need to take it right away, but you need to make that alchemy roll to process it, or it'll go off.
So processing is different than applying it?
Correct. Yeah. Like it's just applying it is just a matter of getting it in your body, right? Like your body's designed. One of the things with the Witchers, they're designed to interact with the different things they use. Your potions is the most common thing you use, but your body's designed to take that stuff in and also interact with the mutagen. With a mutagen, though, it's a matter of what the alchemy rolls, not whether it does something terrible to you, it's whether you've prepared it properly to consume.
I see.
You are an open vessel, ready for further mutation.
Indeed. So the only so I mean, we'll definitely be trying to process it. I guess the only question is whether to have the doctor do it or somebody else.
What is your account? What do they call it? The total for your base for your alchemy.
The doctor is better than I am. I'm an 8.
8. Okay. And Greyvac is. Let's see here. I mean, I think most certainly better than you, but it's a question of how much better. Alchemy is... Here we go, craft. He has 5 skill points in it, and it's crafting. He's got 10. He's got a 15 in it.
Wow. Combined 15?
Combined 15.
That's stronger than I remember. He may have improved it. Or I could just be wrong, but that's formidable. Yeah, if we can use him this session.
I'll make the roll for him. I think he's already got a tick next to alchemy already.
I assume he'd use luck.
He is not going to use luck. That is one you can't use with it. So,
there you go. Nice.
You have yourself a mutagen. Your first successful one.
Right. Seriously.
And I think that
was just
once it's all processed, what you find is it has almost like not oil, but it's got a slightly kind of viscous quality to it, but there is a blackness, like flecks of black, like it's feathers that sort of drifts around in this thing. So the question is, you have this thing ready to go now. The question is whether you consume it and transform yourself.
Yeah, I'll give it some thought. But well done, Doctor. You seem to be back on your feet, I say to him.
Mm-hmm. So then, is there anything else you guys wish to do in town before you leave for the neck?
I mean, I'll have, a reasonable, decent conversation with Nicholas before we, we've got some time. So he'll have had a mug with Nicholas.
Yep.
To seal the,
he
post.
thanks you. He's extremely grateful. I know he was pretty standoffish at first, and he seemed like he was, kind of relying on childhood memories of a Witcher to try and hire you in the first place. But he is extremely grateful, and they are happy to part with the money for what you've achieved here.
We are glad that it worked, that we were able to fulfill our half of things.
He, like yourself, he's a man of few words, so I think he's very grateful for it, and he says you will be welcome in this town when your task for the Duke is complete and you make your way back. You will be welcome in Midway again.
We look forward to that. We have much to do, and we must press on to our other employment task with the knight. But we'll have fond memories of your town.
And we will not forget you soon. The Master Mage, the Witcher, and the Girl Warrior, and the Doctor. You're not going to cure the prevalent racism in the northern in the continent and then the northern kingdoms, with one good encounter. But I think having had a positive encounter with Dr. Gravek, who, from what I recall, was also helping people in the town, I think that's going to go likewise. Memories are long in here, so that may have a lasting effect here as well. So.
Indeed.
We're a little bit early, but I think because we're on the cusp of a so for those listening at home, our next session of this that would be scheduled in 2 weeks' time, I'll actually be on vacation. So our next session of this is not going to be for 4 weeks, and I think rather than starting off something and leaving on a cliffhanger, we're going to leave with you guys leaving Midway Village, having assisted the people of that community, and heading up towards the Keep of the Forefather. Yeah, we got a functioning token for Gravek now. That's excellent. So for those, first of all, let's award some XP here, guys.
Ooh.
Because you did achieve pretty remarkable victory over that Griffin. Here we go. Nope.
Oh, we had our Griffin points already, I guess.
Oh, you got your Griffins. That's right. We gave you guys a lot last time. Okay, so let's see. You guys did, Sean. It was you and I chatting for a lot of the session, but you guys all did a great job with your role playing. Let's say 4 IP for today. Okay. Then. For those listening at home, we'll be back in 4 weeks' time with this campaign. I will be on vacation in 2 weeks' time, but I will be bringing my books with me. I'll be drawing a map, so hopefully when we return, you'll be seeing a brand new map of these northern duchies. And because they're all sort of, I'm picturing they're all sort of in a bit of a valley, like all sort of at different points in this fairly long valley in the foothills of the Dragon Mountains. Until that time, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. I'll also point out that in the description of this video there is a link to the Dungeon Musing Discord server where all of us are active, and we have a channel dedicated to, we don't have a channel dedicated to this campaign, but there is an assorted games channel where we do chat about The Witcher sometimes, and channels dedicated to every other game we run on the channel, as well as a bunch of other great channels, including Finding a Group and a bunch of other stuff. So lots of great people over there, lots of great opportunities to interact with some great people. There's a Find a Group channel that is actively looking for some players as well. There is also it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder. I need to be dealing with your reputation. Rules we need to incorporate. There is also, let's see here. I mean, there's a channel that's dedicated to online, keep track of conventions. So you're more than welcome to join us over on the Discord server. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. They have a terrific selection of those types of products, as well as a bunch of, all new RPGs, board games, and card games. My favorite feature for this store is the want list feature. So if there's something that you wish to pick up that they don't have in stock, you can put that on your want list, and then when it comes in, they'll let you know, and you can order it in. I just recently, thanks to Will's prompting towards BattleTech, I was able to snag a copy of the Covert Operations for MechWarrior 3rd Edition through the want list. And I mentioned, like, things are priced sort of according to the the demand for them too. Even though it was on a want list and it showed up, $20 is what I paid for that, which is less than what the print cost was, less than what the cover price was at the time it was released. So if you do purchase $10 or more through that website, be sure to enter the code MUSINGS at checkout, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. In addition, there's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International, a really terrific organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children. And all money that is donated through that link goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services, including ongoing relief efforts in Ukraine and the surrounding regions at the time of recording. And there is 2 ways we say thank you to the generous donors who donate through that. One of them is that for every $25 that you donate, you get one chance to win the grand prize or one of the other great prizes in our next charity raffle. Next charity raffle will be in December 2022. And if you want to see what prizes were awarded last time, head on over to the Dungeon Musing Discord server's Charity Initiatives channel, and you'll see all those great prizes that were given away last time. In addition to that, we also have regular charity sessions, and our next one will be at the end of November, returning to a channel favorite, Modifius Entertainment's Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of. We will be having donors vote over the 3 weeks leading up to that session to determine what the kind of session we're going to play, what kind of Conan story is it going to be. Is it going to be something based on the Roy Thomas and John Buscema comic? Is it going to be based on more on the film, one of the video games, or the Howard originals? What types of story are we going to have? Is it going to be against human opponents, supernatural opponents? Donors will help us decide what those options are going to be, and then we'll be playing the session at the end of November. So we're really looking forward to that. That's a game we get to about once a year, but it's always a shit ton of fun when we get a chance to get back to the Hyborian world. And again, just a reminder, all donations that go through that link go directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it comes to any other middleman or the channel. It just goes to help out those kids, and you get to win some cool gaming stuff and help have a say on what we play on the channel. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart heroes here. So, Sean, Will, and James, thank you so much for playing today, guys. Congratulations once again on defeating the Griffin of Midway Village. I look forward to seeing you guys venture into the northern duchies and seeing what trouble awaits you up there. I'm sure it'll be fun. So then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back again in 4 weeks' time because I'll be on vacation at the usual time for our next session. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes adventuring on the continent are running into. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.